Hi, this is Ted. I'm going to be talking today. What am I talking about? Well, I'm going to be talking about something called the placebo effect and how it works. And I'm going to be talking about, I like mountain biking, so I put on my mountain biking gear for you. It's a protective vest. It's called Armor, which I now use because of an accident a year and a half ago. I have my bike, not the one I had the accident, that's out in the garage. But what I want to talk about here is, well, first of all, I've had 4 different times I've had to go to the hospital because of mountain biking. And the first 2 times, well, 2 of those times were because of ticks that left in my foot too long. I didn't see them, didn't know they're ticks until it was too late. And the first time, I think I got sepsis, not sure, but I had all the signs of sepsis, which is not a good thing. And I was overnight in the hospital that time. The second time was just a lot of pain. Went in, got the antibiotics I needed. I'm fine, good. Third time, happened this year. I got stung by a bee on my hand and my whole hand swelled up within the next hour. Go to the hospital and the first thing they say, are you allergic to bees? I didn't think I was. Now, doctors said I was because I stepped on a bunch of bees one time cutting the grass years ago, and my whole leg started swelling up, but I thought that was just because so many bees stung me. Well, I am allergic to bees. So they raced me back in, gave me the stuff I needed, fine. These things are no big deal. I want to talk today about one in particular where I had to go to the hospital. Well, it was the best thing for me to do. I didn't have to go, but I'm glad I did. I'll tell you why. Here's the story. I'm biking. I'm mountain biking, taking these back paths that are pretty lonely. A lot of people don't go on these things. Now, some do. And the particular place I was at, there was nobody there the entire day. I was there for about an hour or 2, I can't remember. But while I was there, I hear nobody. I don't hear it. I'm going through all these paths back in the woods and stuff like this. And then I get to this one section that was built up recently professionally. So these things are not straight. They're all over the place, up and down and all over the place. But they're designed to go fast because there are no roots, there are no rocks. Well, a few rocks, of course, nicely placed. But I can get my speed up pretty good. And that particular day, I'm thinking, come on, I'm 69 years old. I gotta learn how to do some tricks. Bad idea. Not a good time to learn how to do tricks on the bike, especially when I'm not used to them. And I wasn't prepared for the jumps that I hit. I've done the jumps before plenty of times, but I never went too high off them. Why? Because I am not one who wants to get into jumps right now. But that day I kind of thought it's time to start. But I didn't expect to be hitting so much air on that particular day. So as I'm going over the first one, I'm going, oh no, this is not good. Go over the second one, and I do the worst thing, and that's the gut level feeling, the gut level thing that you do, and I push the front end down. Not supposed to do that. I'm supposed to pull it up. Any kid will know that. Anyway, so I push it down and I end up on the ground, realizing this is not good. This is not my normal fall. Well, I had heard voices behind me for a good 2-3 minutes. So I know somebody's back there. It'd be the first person I saw that day after about an hour. I'm guessing an hour, I can't remember. Anyway, I'm lying on the ground, I yell out, there's somebody here, because they're going to just see the jumps, they're not going to see me. And they did hear my voice, thankfully, slowed down, came up, and first thing is, oh, you must have pushed the front end down. Oh, how did you know? Anyway, they helped me get back up. First thing I said, well, I can do it. Of course, I think something inside me saying, it's not time to get myself up. Let them help you. So I reached up my left hand, because my right side is where I landed, and they pull me up. And then I'm saying, by the way, where's the entrance, the exit to this thing? I can get on fine, but I have a hard time finding the exit. Don't know why. I get a little twisted around in this because it goes around so much. I'm good with directions, but for some reason I'm not the best with this particular place. Anyway, so they tell me, well, you're just really close to it. Oh, thankfully. So I get on my bike and I ride through the bumpy parts and all the dirt and stuff like that, maybe about a quarter of a mile. Then I hit this path, and it's a paved path that I can take, or I can go straight back into the woods again, which is what I usually do. But I decided today I'm going to take the paved path back. I go back over 2 miles to my car, using my left hand mainly, because I'm just thinking, it's just, actually I'm thinking along the way, I'm thinking, should I just go home and just put up with it? And I just wasn't sure. Then I thought I might have something cracked, like a cracked bone or something. Anyway, well, I get to the car, lift up the bike with my left hand mostly. A couple times it wants to drop, so I grab my right hand in there and realize it doesn't feel right. But anyway, I get it back up on the stand for the bike, and I get it out there and lock it up because it has a little thing to lock it up with. And I decided I'm going to go to the hospital. Why? Because, for a first hour or 2, maybe 3 hours, I know my body well enough to know that the pain's not going to hit right away. It's going to be coming if there is pain. And I'm confident enough that something's wrong, that it's worth going to the hospital. So I go to the hospital and I go in. The first thing they ask me is, did you hit your head? Yeah, I scraped my head. Immediately they rush me in and start doing the MRIs and stuff. Well, the doctor comes in and he's looking at the MRI. Oh, looks like you have a couple of broken ribs. Oh, make that 3, 4, no, 5 broken ribs, 7 places, and a broken collarbone, 2 places. Oh, good. Now, what I want to emphasize here, for those hours, those first 2 hours, I'd probably say 2 hours maybe, I felt almost no pain at all. But I gotta start remembering that my watch talks to me when I hold it, when I keep it on. Anyway, so I get in, so I'm there and I'm finding out that I got all these broken bones, and I don't know, maybe 20 minutes later, I don't know, my wife comes in, I'm sitting in some bed in an emergency room, and all of a sudden the pain starts to come. And it's not just a little pain, it is excruciating pain. They give me some oxytocin, which is an opioid, and I then spend the night or 2 in the hospital while I'm recovering. While my body is trying to recover. And I spent basically the next couple of months working through all different types of exercises and stuff, working through the pain, a lot of pain. I went home with quite a bit of your oxytocin. Now, what I want to emphasize though is those first 2 hours, because there wasn't much pain at all, if any. I'm able to ride my bike out with broken bones. I'm able to load it up in the car. I'm able to drive about 20 miles to the hospital. I'm able to do all these things without any problems. Why? What happened? You see, your body has this natural opioid, and it kicks in for a lot of us when needed. And I needed it. Soldiers will experience this. People in car accidents will experience this. The pain waits. The body is responding to something called a shock or emergency or something. But it's not a shock because I was quite aware of everything going on. But the body's responding by sending out its own opioids to kill the pain. And it did better than any oxytocin that I had. And it's the type of opioid we're talking about is probably mostly endorphins. I don't know, there's a lot of other chemicals up there and they tend to mix and work with each other. The body can send out a lot of different chemicals, but it seems like endorphin is the one that works with pain the most. And now there's a reason I want to bring this whole thing up. Now, when you go to a faith healing group and everybody gets all charged up, faith healers, people who are in the movement of, you can get healed in groups and stuff like this, they have perfected how to get the endorphins flowing. And when endorphins are flowing, pain tends to go away. I researched, I dug into, I looked at about 300 different testimonies and people getting healed on stages. And I wrote down in my journal different categories of what I'm seeing, what I'm witnessing. I never saw anything that was physical. Sure, people jump around on stage. Sure, people get out of wheelchairs, but those are all possible if pain is relieved. And that's all that's happening in most of these crusades. I'm not going to say every case, because sometimes you might get a miracle seeping through. I don't know. I haven't found any yet. And I'll get much more into this in the future. But I do want to focus on the fact that with endorphins, if I can get them running high somehow through worship and expectation and the different ways, I'll talk to you about that another time, how to get those endorphins running. But when those endorphins are running, it's going to be working most of all, not only, but most of all, with pain. Almost, I would say around 80%, sometimes more, sometimes a little less. These preachers, such as Catherine Kuhlman, such as Benny Hinn, somewhere about 80% of their healings and testimonies of those healings deal with pain. If I am wheelchair bound because of pain, what happens when pain goes away? I rise up, walk, put away my cane, I'll do anything. What happens if I have arthritis? It goes away. No, not the arthritis, the pain. And this is what the endorphins are doing. But endorphins don't last. And you got an hour, two, maybe a little longer. I don't know. I don't know all the time schedules for everybody. For me, it's generally an hour or two. The endorphins kick in, they take away your pain, and you got, wow, it seems like a miracle. I can do everything that I could before. But then an hour or two later, all the pain returns. And if I've been dancing around on stage, I might have more pain now than what I had before. In one case with Catherine Kuhlman, that's exactly what happened. There was a girl with a broken back, and Catherine told her to take off the brace. So she danced around the stage. The next day, her back collapsed. I'll get much more into this. There's so many other signs that really are pointing to what you're witnessing in way too many cases. What you're seeing is not a miracle, not a genuine miracle. I'll also be talking about how these things differ from the types of miracles that Jesus did. And because I put Jesus to the same test that I put these people through. They don't pass, Jesus does. So I'll be looking at that as well. And I'm going to wrap it up right here. I hope you guys have a really good day, and we'll see you around. This is Ted.